Greetings, Pokemon fans, and welcome back to Pokémon Draft. My name is JD, and over the last 4 weeks, we've been playing through all the flying normal-type Pokemon in Generation 1 to figure out who the best flying-type Pokemon is in Generation 1. We have 4 Pokemon that participate. That's Farfetch'd, Dodrio, Fearow, and Pidgeot. Today, we're going to be ranking them based on how they did and see who the best of every type is. We've had a ranker that has been, if you looked at my last video, that's been up to date with the Pidgeot video. However, over the last few days, I've been playing through trying to optimize these Pokemon, get the best possible time, and today we're going to rank them based on those times. So the first Pokemon, we're going to go from worst to best, who finished worst, who finished best, and talk about them, figure out why they're where they're at, and what hindered them, what made them better than everyone else. So the first Pokemon we're going to talk about is Pidgeot. Pidgeot came in at 4th place with a time of 1 hour, 6 minutes, and how many seconds? Here we go, 13 seconds, there we go. So not the worst time. Now, here's the thing. This Pokemon, the first playthrough I had was the best playthrough I had. I played this Pokemon 2 more times, tried to get a better time, and it's really just, the first playthrough we got a lot of luck. It's really RNG based, there's really a lot of luck involved, and this Pokemon is just not very good. Why is it not good? Well, first off, it does have pretty good stats. It has the second highest stats of everyone on this list, second only to Dodrio, so it has better stats than Fearow and Farfetch'd. So now you're thinking, well, what made it bad? Well, its moveset. The problem with this Pokemon is its moveset. I do want to talk about one advantage that it had that none of the other Pokemon had. This Pokemon's in what's called the medium slow growth rate. So what happened with the other 3 Pokemon is whenever they face our rival, the first battle of the game, when they beat rival Squirtle, whatever it was, I think it's Squirtle, whenever we beat that, what happened was we leveled up after beating that with Pidgeot. None of the other 3 Pokemon did. So it gains levels faster, so we got to a higher level faster to face our rival and then Brock, faster than the other 3 Pokemon. So that's actually an advantage this Pokemon has. Now, its disadvantage, it's move pool. This Pokemon starts off with Gust and Quick Attack. Neither one of them are bad moves because it's a normal type Pokemon, so they are stab. However, the other 3 Pokemon start off with Peck, and then some other move. Whether it's Quick Attack, whether it's Fury Attack, whatever. And Peck is a much better move in the early game. A lot of things you face are Bug type, it's super effective. And you're also going to face a lot of rock types, so having only normal moves is a hindrance because then you have to spend more power points taking them down. Battles are longer. There's a lot of disadvantages that this Pokemon has. It does not get a flying move to level 31, which is Wing Attack, and Wing Attack's the same power as Peck, which is what the other 3 Pokemon start with. So huge hindrance for this Pokemon. At that point, Wing Attack is pointless. If it started with Wing Attack, great. It'd probably do amazing. It'd probably be up there, probably with like Farfetch'd and maybe as high as Dodrio. However, it doesn't. And you have to rely on Fly. Fly takes longer to use because it's 2 turns. And unlike the other Pokemon, it, like I said, doesn't get access to Peck. It doesn't get access to Drill Peck. 2 of the other Pokemon get access to Drill Peck. And 2 of the other Pokemon as well get access to Body Slam. So you're stuck with Gust and Quick Attack for a large majority of the early to mid game. And then when you're able to upgrade, you actually do get some decent moves. Double Edge, which does recoil, and Swift, which is a solid move, but it doesn't pace well to the end of the game. And eventually we did get Hyper Beam, and honestly, Hyper Beam, as much as I've just made it a rule that if a Pokemon needs it, they need it, it's going to make them better. It is kind of cheating because we have to pause the timer to do it. You can only get 50 coins at a time, whereas in Generation 2, I could do this in like 30 seconds and get the money I need to buy the TM. With this Pokemon, you have to spend a lot of time buying 50 at a time. So huge hindrance for that Pokemon, really would make the time worse than what it is. So that is why Pidgeot ends up where it is. Now here's the thing about it as well, is I played through a long time ago. So what you're seeing on the screen, if you're looking at it, is I played through a long time ago. We're starting out as Pidgey, and this Pokemon took forever, took almost 2 hours. So I know it's a completely different comparison to start out with Pidgey stats compared to Pidgeot. But progressing through the game, we took us 1 hour, 55 minutes, 24 seconds. And I'm pretty sure we're at a very high level in this one. So we end up beating this game at a pretty decent level. I think it's 69. Very nice level. And the old playthrough I did a long time. It's actually a replay, so I've actually played through it twice, where the first one was over 2 hours. But we did a drastic improvement. So I'm proud of what we got out of this Pokemon. I may try it one more time. But as of right now, this is where Pidgeot lands. And for a while, it was above Fearow, which it was very surprising to me. I thought Pidgeot would easily come in last, but it did land above Fearow. Let's move on to the Pokemon came in 3rd place. Originally on its original playthrough, Farfetch'd came in at 2nd place on all the flying normal type Pokemon at 1 hour, 5 minutes and 17 seconds. with another playthrough, we actually have way more resets, but we played the game faster, 1 hour, 1 minute, and 2 seconds. The problem with this Pokemon, one, of all the 4 Pokemon that are participating in this competition, it has the worst stats. By far the worst stats. And it relies very, very heavily. Like, the other Pokemon can kind of brute force their way through problems at times because their stats are warranted enough to use Drill Peck, to use Hyper Beam, whatever. Farfetch'd does not have that luxury. It has to set up to be effective. And because you have to set up, there's a lot of battles that you're just not going to have the right things. I think for a long time, and even I think in the first place, this is the problem where we couldn't get by Koga because we weren't, or we couldn't get by Blaine. Somebody we couldn't outspeed, and they were just knocking us out every time. And we had to get the right gym badge to surpass those problems. And this Pokemon does start with Peck, so advantage there, but its stats are bad. You had to get to a higher level to beat Brock because we don't outspeed the Onix. So you have to get to like level 14 or 15 to just get by Brock. And like I said, it's not a bad Pokemon based on what it has. If it's just off its stats and you didn't have Swords Dance, this would be a very complicated playthrough. And this would be a very hard playthrough because this Pokemon, like I said, it doesn't have great stats. I know they gave an evolution in like future generations. I know they've done that. However, in Generation 1, it's not great. Its moveset also doesn't Pokemon Spine. So if you just had to play with level up moveset, you have Peck, Sand Attack, Leer, Fury Attack, Swords Dance, Agility, and Slash. And Slash and Swords Dance don't work well together. Slash crits, so it skips over all stat buffs. And, I mean, you're not going to keep Peck and Fury Attack, so you move on to your level up, your TM moveset, I'm sorry. And there are some decent moves. You get access to Body Slam. You do get access to Swift. There is Double Edge in here. But it's just overall not a great Pokemon. Very shallow move pool, and that's kind of the story with all of the Pokemon in the flying normal type realm. So let's move on to the next Pokemon. I mean, it did move up a tier. Hold on. Farfetch'd did move up a tier. It was in a tier where it was like over 65 minutes and under 70 minutes. And then it moves into a tier where it's sub 65. So that's solid. It's good, and we'll take it. And I'm going to move right on to the next Pokemon, which very much surprised me in my second run when I cleaned up the middle game and was able to optimize it. Is Fearow. Fearow came in with the first playthrough, 1 hour, 6 minutes, and 19 seconds. I thought this would be the third place Pokemon originally, and with Pidgeot beating it, I'm like, okay, if I really clean up that middle game, we're going to obliterate Pidgeot, and we're probably going to beat Farfetch'd, but how well are we going to do? And we went from the under 75, under 75 minute run to jumping up 2 tiers and getting it down to 58 minutes and 51 seconds. And I had 4 resets. Lorelei was really much a pain in the butt. I might have been able to get it right around 55 minutes if it wasn't for Lorelei being such a pain. But nonetheless, we did a great playthrough. So what's this Pokemon's advantage? Well, Peck early game. It gets access to Drill Peck as well, the best flying move in the game. But it also suffers from the same problem the other 2 Pokemon had, where it doesn't have a very good move pool. It's a flying normal type. This Pokemon cannot use Body Slam. So you're stuck using like Fury Attack all the way until you get to Celadon City, where you can get Double Edge, or you can get Swift right as you come out of Rock Cave. So this Pokemon does pretty well things. And when we cleaned up the middle game, we really optimized and we really saved a lot of time. And we shaved off almost 10 minutes off this run. So that's how good it moved up 2 tiers. I've never really done a lot of playthroughs where you moved up that drastically in tiers. So this Pokemon exceeded my expectations, and I'm kind of happy about that because this is my favorite flying normal type Pokemon Generation 1. I've always used it on my teams, so I was really happy to see it do well. Like I said, jumped up 2 tiers, and now we move on to the champion of the flying normal type. And that Pokemon is Dodrio. Dodrio comes in, it has the best stats of all of them. It comes in, the first playthrough is 1 hour and 52 seconds. The second playthrough is 54 minutes and 52 seconds. Could we have got this done a little faster? Absolutely. We had 5 resets compared to 4, so we had a little bit more things going against us. We were a much lower level in the second playthrough as well compared to the first one. Actually, what level were we at with Farfetch'd? I'm just curious real quick. So let this come through, and we'll see. I think we were at a lower level with Farfetch'd as well. So we were initially same level. Okay, cool. We just cleaned up the middle game. Okay, that's good. So Dodrio. So let's talk about Dodrio for a minute. First off, like I said, best stats of all the flying normal types. Second, it has the best move pool of all the flying normal types. It gets access to Peck. It gets access to Body Slam. It levels up and gets Drill Peck. It actually gets a move called Tri Attack. It has Agility, so it can badge boost. and it has a bunch of other moves as well you can use. Not a lot of them are useful. However, it's a very good Pokemon, very solid Pokemon. Now, solid based on flying normal type standards of Generation 1. Is it going to get it under 50 minutes? Highly doubtful. I highly doubt that. Flying normal types, you just have such a shallow move pool. There's not a lot of diversity in moves. There's not a lot of type coverage. And you got to rely on like Mimic to do a lot of those things. You have to rely on Agility to badge boost, which does okay. But it's not the end-all be-all and best badge booster. If this Pokemon had Sword Dance, oh my lord, I would definitely change my tune if this Pokemon had Sword Dance. Might do a what-if scenario in the future, just to kind of see how good we could do with this Pokemon if it had Sword Dance. Without further ado, we need to go ahead and update our tier list. So this is where we land now with our tier list updated. Dodrio jumps up from the sub 65 category just over 1 hour into the sub 55 category. So it jumps up 2 categories, the 60 and then into the sub 55. So with 54 minutes and some change, it moves above Primeape, which I think Primeape will move past it once I do a playthrough. Fearow has the biggest jump. It jumped from just in front of Moltres, jumps over 2 categories as well, and jumps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Pokemon to get into the sub 60 category. Right behind Primeape, right in front of Rapidash. I think both of them will both get into the sub 55 run once I do their replays. And then Farfetch jumped up from the sub 70 run to the sub 65. Solid improvement there. It surpassed 1, 2, 3, 4 Pokemon. And then Pidgeot is still where it is. And like I said, I'm going to try to play through it one more time, try to optimize it. It is kind of funny to me that all 4 of these Pokemon, flying, normal type Pokemon, all of them beat the brakes off of Moltres. Actually, Moltres did beat it about maybe a couple seconds slower than Pidgeot. However, Moltres is still the worst flying Pokemon yet in this generation. I do think some other Pokemon are gonna do worse. I think Golbat will do worse than Moltres, so maybe Moltres won't be the worst flying Pokemon in Generation 1, but we will find out. But anyway, that is the video content for this. So a couple things I want to let you guys know. First off, if you made it this far, you're amazing. You should like, share, subscribe. I do videos like this all the time. And I do, every week, I do a playthrough, and then I update the tier maker. I do a couple other playthroughs, update that throughout the course of the week. So it's exciting that this is what we're focusing on Channel 1. I do want to still do Gen 2 content. It's just, with my time constraint, it's kind of hard to do. And the other thing I wanted to say is the next playthrough I'm actually doing is Gengar. Gengar is the only ghost type in Generation 1, so it's not going to be ranking who the best ghost type is. It wins by default. So we're going to be doing that next, and we'll get on this list. I predict it's going to be probably sub 50. Maybe, I don't know if it'll beat Poliwrath, we'll see. But I predict it'll be at least sub 50. There's no reason why this Pokemon shouldn't. It has amazing special. It cannot get hit by normal moves, which in the early game, there's only like one Pokemon that can hit you, which is Weedle, with a Poison Sting. And we can't get poisoned because we're Ghost Poison. So that's not even like a disadvantage for us. And the other thing about that, the only other thing that can really hit us is we can get sand attacked by our rival, but it doesn't affect our ability to, eventually we'll hit, you know. And then also, Brock can use Bite. And that's pretty much it. That's all. It's all, only thing that hit us early, so the early game will go very fast. And then beyond that, it does progress pretty well in the game. Because it is Gengar and not Ghastly, we do get access to some moves, so to have some move coverage. We do get access to Mega Punch, for example. We do get access to Thunderbolt. There are some other moves we get access to as well, and this Pokemon will progress very well, and I'm very excited to see how it ends up. So tune in for that. That's coming out next week. And the only other thing, like I said, like, share, subscribe, comment down below. You get videos like this all the time. And yeah, that's it. I appreciate everyone stopping in. This is JD. This is Polyworld's Wrath. Like I said, next week we'll be doing a playthrough of Gengar. And if I do any playthroughs between now and then, I'll update the board as well, and you'll get that update and a breakdown of what happens in the Gengar video. So let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Have a good one, and I'll see you guys next Friday.